All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Workbench, your resource-rich weekly podcast and newsletter for local service entrepreneurs. As always, we're brought to you by Lead Truffle. Lead Truffle helps turn website visitors and phone calls into paying customers with 24/7 AI texting. Continuing on our franchise theme here, very honored to have Tony Hulbert is the CEO of Horsepower Brands. Just a few of their brands, which you might have heard of: Mighty Dog Roofing, Blingle, iFoam, Heroes Lawn Care, Gatsby Glass, Groovy Hughes Painting. The list goes on. Tony, so excited to have you on. You're in good company. We've had CEOs, CMOs from a variety of franchise conglomerates. So really excited to dive into your background, your story, and the brands you're building. For those that aren't familiar with you, Tony, would love to just get a general background and intro on kind of you and your business career, and then we can dive into all things local service, business, marketing, and everything from there. So Tony, thanks for coming on, and yeah, tell us a little bit about kind of your story, and we'll jump off from there.
Great. Well, first, thanks, Bryan, for having me on here, and hope to one day be a conglomerate. We're working towards that. So,
Yeah.
Tony Hulbert, CEO of Horsepower Brands. My fast forward quick synopsis of my background: CPA to CFO at a young age, flipped it completely to vice president of sales and marketing for that same company, leading teams in sales, flipped it again to the entrepreneurial journey. Earned some ownership in some businesses or retail stores in the nutrition space, continued to invest in real estate businesses, things like that, and then joined Horsepower Brands from the beginning. So we started in January of 2021 with our first brand, which was Mighty Dog Roofing. Joined this company as the CFO initially. 10 months later, was given the opportunity to become the CEO. We had created the acquisition strategy and what we plan to do in terms of growing it out within Horsepower. And here we are today. We got 9 brands. You mentioned many of them on the onset. 9 brands in the portfolio, all in the home service space. We are in franchising, 150 employees, 450 business owners. We're targeting 275 million in system-wide sales by the end of this year, which is our 5th year. And we're aiming for 1 billion in system-wide sales by year 10. And so we have been on this rocket ship and this ride for a period of time. It's not slowing down. We have our rocket ship idea is what brings it all together in the end, is a platform that we call Howie, which is how the consumer, the homeowner will really see the platform, and it will be the one-stop shop. We hope to own the home through Howie and be able to share leads and services across all of our brands and business owners as we continue to develop out Howie.
Yeah, I want to dive into there. 250 million in system-wide sales. I want to learn more about what Howie is and kind of the vision there. But I think the founding story is crucial here. Correct me if I'm hearing this correct. Correct me if I'm hearing this wrong. Started with Mighty Dog Roofing, and then the team behind Mighty Dog Roofing said, okay, let's go make a umbrella company and open up more brands. Is that correct?
Correct. We started with 3 founders. It's narrowed down to the single founder who's put all the money into the business, and his name is Josh Skolnick. He actually owned 2 different home service franchise brands prior to all of this and exited both of those different portfolio companies. With that capital, we were able to launch Mighty Dog Roofing and Horsepower Brands. For the better half of the last 2.5, 3 years, it's been a management-led company, including myself, but I've been alongside Josh since the beginning with Mighty Dog and creating that acquisition strategy and growing it from there. So we do have a founder. I like to say that we're fortunate enough to be where we're at, where he can be kind of in the week to week or the month to month of part of the business. And he acts as the visionary and chairman of the board. And I work with him virtually day to day, just in terms of talking, but in terms of his actions or what he's required to do inside the business, it's pretty minimal at this point. Which is good for him and also good for the organization as we continue to grow it.
So let me ask a question here, because I think I'm an entrepreneur myself, and something you hear a lot in the entrepreneurial ethos is focus. What drove the decision for you guys to, instead of saying, hey, we're going to make Mighty Dog Roofing the number 1 roofing company in America with 10 locations in every state or whatever that number may be, what drove the decision to say, hey, let's expand outside and go do lawn care and foam and Gatsby Glass? How did you all align on the decision to say, hey, we're doing well with Mighty Dog. Let's see if we can implement some of our wins from this one industry into others?
Yeah, I think a little bit of it just came from Josh exited two of his brands individually to two different platforms. And so he was able to see and observe through that process the power of creating a platform. I think he also recognized that he alone could not go do that on his own. And so he took a significant investment into our system to build out and scale these brands. What's unique in our world is we've actually all nine of the brands to date is actually all started from one or two locations. And so we have not chosen, I would say, the easy path. Private equity that has capital behind it and they can go out and buy a franchise system with 50 locations and buy this one. I'm not saying that's easy either, because now you got to figure out how to integrate these cultures and these different environments. We thought it might be harder to launch from the beginning, but we think what becomes easier is the culture and the synergies that we're able to create. It's a little bit easier because everyone coming through the process has seen this as horsepower from the beginning, has seen it as a platform, and we've been able to tell our vision in the future and what that looks like to each business owner, regardless of the brand that they're a part of within the portfolio.
You've mentioned platform a few times. I think this will lead into Howie. When you think about the synergy between, can a Gatsby Glass customer become a Mighty Dog Roofing customer? How big of a focus is that kind of servicing one homeowner with multiple businesses? How big of a focus is that for you? Is that intentional, or is that just, hey, if it happens, it happens? How do you guys think about that piece?
It's intentional, but we're relatively small. So like we have nine brands, 450 business owners. In the grand scope of a national brand across nine different brands, that's relatively small in terms of what we're trying to achieve. But now if you center in and look at within Dallas, or even go further and look at McKinney, or you go into Nashville and look at Franklin, or Atlanta, you look at Marietta, like you're now looking at areas of the country where we have multiple brands open for a period of time. And now it makes sense to share leads across the brands within the portfolio. Now, how do you tell that story if individually you're all different brands and there's no cohesion of a platform? Horsepower is known as a franchisor. So our customer is a candidate looking to buy a franchise or start a
Right.
business. Like
Right.
that's our customer for
Right.
Horsepower Brands. All of our marketing, everything's built off of trying to find that customer. Howie now can go into these areas and focus in on and trying to find the homeowner. And then through that, the idea and the concept is that lead then can go to our business owners, our franchisees, for them to go service. And so is there a way for us to be able to find those leads ahead of them finding the brands for the service line? Is there a way for our franchise owners to share services and customers and information and referrals and connecting with businesses in the market? So now going to realtors and builders and insurance agents and community events, but going as one under Howie, the parent, and then all the family of brands underneath it. It just creates this powerful impact. It's not a whole lot different. What I compare it to early on is it's not a whole lot different than Marriott. I'm a Bonvoy member. Marriott's a franchise system. You can stay at Fairfield or you can stay at the Courtyard. It's all within the family of Marriott. So I can benefit as a Bonvoy member, their membership platform. I can book a hotel, I can pay for a hotel, I can do everything within it. I gain points. So this is a long-term goal. Howie is, it's not a next year goal. We're taking baby steps each of the steps of the way there. It's looking at 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So I think that's a benefit to somebody looking at one of our brands is our organization is not looking out 1 year. Like we're looking at this, what could actually create something that's bigger than anything that we're seeing today and establish that cohesion at the inside the home.
Let's talk a little bit about Howie. It sounds like you guys might be building a little bit of a tech platform here. What exactly is Howie? However much you can share. Is it simply internal to home to horsepower? Is it something you guys are thinking about bringing to the market? And what exactly is it?
HowieKnowsHow.com. So how do you fix your furnace? How do you do this? How do you do that? It could be a DIY option. How do you maintain your furnace? It can be a hire a pro option. So from the surface, from a consumer, you go to the website. It feels and looks a little like Angie or Thumbtack or any other type of site like that. But the difference is if you need that service, we're connecting you exclusively to our franchise owner if they're available in that market. And so that's the objective there. From a tech platform, like that's the long-term goal. We do plan to release in November of this year. Excited for homeowner accounts. And so you'll be able to log in as a homeowner, put your address in, and actually have an account on the site. We don't have that in place right now, but that's version 2 that's coming out. There's a lot that goes into this of how to connect all the contact information and all the data that we've collected thus far. I know you're in the lead business, but first party data becomes extremely relevant. And so the more we can collect first party data across all the customers we're serving and within the home, regardless of service, we'll gain an advantage each year. Like it's going to incrementally get better because we'll continue to gain advantage with all the data that we're collecting.
Yeah. And so it sounds like from, let's say I was a franchisee thinking about coming into the Horsepower brand systems, it sounds like the net effect for me would be that, hey, maybe if one of my fellow franchisees serves a customer with X service, that lead could potentially then come to me for my service in that area.
Yeah. And so what we're seeing right now, like real time, is in certain markets, they're going to home shows together and just going to events together. And so we've gone to Denver, Atlanta. I think we're going up down to Tampa here soon. But we're just going to events together, and the franchisees are now getting a 40 by 40 booth instead of a 10 by 10, booth in different spots, and you're part of a show. And so even the people attending that home show sees it bigger than just one brand. And my dream one day is in that it creates a better community within the platform. Business owners need to be around business owners. We're all going through the grit, the grind, the tough days, the good days. And while you have a franchisor to lean on through those difficult days, if you can lean on other peers that are going through the same thing or have gone through the same thing. And so does how we bring even the business owners together in a more meaningful, like community way within the market. That would be, that's the intangible that comes along with it.
Do you think you'd ever open this up to other you think Empower brands might use this one day, or is this proprietary for Horsepower?
Wouldn't be Empower, but friends of Tony that are in industries that we're not competitive.
Yeah.
Could potentially jump on multi-location providers, but it wouldn't be other platforms. We want to keep it as something that's unique within what we're doing.
Understood. Prior to us hopping on, you mentioned customer obsession is a big kind of tent pole for what you do at Horsepower Brands. It sounds like Howie is a piece of that. If we can nail windows or gutters or whatever it may be for Johnny homeowner, let's see if we can then fulfill their needs in these other areas. Like how do you think about customer journeys, the customer obsession, and then how you instill that into all of the processes at the Horsepower level and then in your franchisees as well?
Yeah. So Brian, I went from a CPA, CFO over into VP of sales and marketing just because I enjoyed leading teams. I enjoyed the business aspect. So as a CPA, I enjoyed more the conversations I was having with the founders, owners, or the C level of the businesses that we were working with than I did actually doing the work. I was actually good at doing the work, but I enjoyed those conversations more. And what I learned through and just a continuous learning, what I've learned in every business I get involved in, I obsess over the customer journey, the end user, all the way through providing the service, completing the work, and just every single touch point. So customer obsession is a key part of any business I'm a part of. But specifically in home services, what we're looking at a lot and what we continue to discuss is how do we continue to remove the friction in their process, their journey, to make it so easy for them, deliver an experience that's not just like consistent, but it's like an incredible experience for a home service. And so we are continuing to work through that with some artificial intelligence and different things that we're doing. I could talk about some of those.
AI, what's that? No,
yeah, right. You never heard, no one's talking about AI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all focused still on the customer journey. So I do look at AI as like, how does it augment right now versus replace?
100%.
Everyone's looking for ways to replace a lot of things within business. We're still in growth mode. So how do we improve it? One of the tools that we're using as an example is a sale coach, an assistant tool. So you go inside the home and on your iPad, it's listening to the conversation. You're the homeowner. I'm the salesperson or the design consultant. It's listening to this conversation. I let you know, Brian, ahead of time, hey, I'm just going to record our conversation because it's able to take notes so that I can follow back up on it. Brian, make sure I deliver everything I say to you today.
What's the reaction? Okay? Yeah. What's the reaction from homeowners
and you say,
on
is that okay, Brian? You say, yep, no problem.
Yeah.
It's 9 times out of 10, it's higher than that.
Nice.
So it's a yes. What they don't know actually though, is it actually then coaches me. And so we've put our sales process, multiple steps into this software. And with all the conversations, we've been working on this for well over a year, about 120 users on the platform today. They're in the field having these conversations with the homeowner. And we're dealing with the same customer, the homeowner. Regardless of brand, we're dealing with the same customer.
Right.
Our sales process changes slightly. But this tool takes our sales process that's inside there, takes the conversation that has occurred, and now coaches me. And there's some nuances of coaching where it's just regardless of the sales process, it says, "Hey, Tony, you're talking too much." Like the effective way to sell is ask questions and let them talk and active listen. And this will actually give you a talk ratio. Are you talking 50% or more of the time, or are you talking less? It actually measures patience. And so if you're talking, how quick do I speak, or do I give a moment to pause to give you some perspective that I'm listening? And if you are listening, you need a moment to listen or a moment to pause. So it does a little bit of subjective coaching, but then it actually coaches to the sales process, and it can tell Tony, you missed this step in the process, this step in the process. You presented price too early in the process, whatever that case is. The tool coaches me. Also, now my business owner that is able to sit in a room like I'm sitting today, I can manage 3, 5, 10 sales reps because this tool tells me, hey, jump to minute 10, minute 18. This is what Tony could have done to potentially have done better. And the owners that are using this tool as a tool to coach and to improve that customer experience, going back to customer obsession, this isn't a gotcha or to tell the salesperson you missed the sale because you messed up here. It's to coach the person to get better with the overall objective to improve the customer experience. And long term, you will build a phenomenal business, and your customers will expect that same level of service every single time that you deliver it.
Really interesting use case. That's a creative one. In terms of AI in general, it's the hot topic of the moment, of course. How else? Yeah, I totally agree with you, by the way. I run an AI startup, and I think there's times where folks are looking for AI to wholesale replace a human being. But like what I tell them is that you're going to have a really tough time replacing a thoughtful, competent, friendly human being. When you have a problem, you kind of just want to talk to someone who solved this problem before. They can reassure you that it's going to get solved. That is very hard to replace. Now, are there a lot of big gaps in business that AI can fill in? Like, do we need to let a lead sit unresponded to for 12 hours because they came in at 9 p.m. on a Thursday and you're not back in the office till 9 a.m. on Thursday? Probably not. But having like a smart, thoughtful, competent person pick up the phone is like super valuable, no matter whether AI reaches AGI or not. So for you guys, CEO, horsepower brands, 9 brands, 450 locations, how are you guys using AI?
And so on the front end, we're also using AI call center. We
Okay.
have a human call center, a vendor, and they're top of class in the industry and home services, also in franchising. I think they're high quality. I got nothing but good things to say about them, but they're still faced with the same challenge of training their people consistently, time and time again, new people, all that, on how to learn our brands and every other customer that they have. So the AI call center right now, we have 3 brands that will be launching. We plan to have every franchisee in 2026 will be able to choose between a human call center or AI. And so we recognize that some people will lean into innovation and technology sooner than others. So we're going to still give the choice. Right now, we're seeing the metrics are the same, if not better, with the AI call agent when you give it enough conversations and time to learn about each one of the brands. But then it's the same voice, same tone, same assistance. And our objective within horsepower in each one of our brands is really the objective is just to get the appointment scheduled. And so this tool can look at our current scheduling, understand what openings are available, and schedule with the homeowner. And oftentimes you don't even know it's an AI person. I've posted a little bit on my LinkedIn, about I've done a call live and posted that out there just so people can hear what that experience is. It's phenomenal. We started this over a year ago, and I can feel and see and hear the significant differences in just 12 months. They've closed a significant gap. And so it's going to just incrementally continue to improve. And it's going to be just real. And so what we haven't done, that's the AI call center. I think you kind of touch on is removing that friction and using AI tools to do things that we should be disciplined in doing, returning calls, following up on leads, all the things that we know we need to do as a business owner, but it just takes discipline, processes, doing it 24/7, any time of the day. Where we can use tools to just again, replace it, but to make your life easier, provide a better experience, communicate more clearly, more responsive, so that you can do what you're supposed to do, which is deliver the service inside the home at a quality level of quality, and then just continue to build the business. So those are like kind of the two things we're working with: AI call center right now and the AI sales coach. Those have been our two biggest initiatives here in 2025, and we're on pace and we're delivering on what we intended to do.
AI, you're right. The AI voice, we have a bunch of customers using ours. For a certain portion of the population, it's like for the callers, like they don't want to talk to AI. Like that is what it is. And I don't think we've crossed that uncanny valley just yet. So giving people like an off ramp to then talk to a human, basically through a call transfer, has been super important. And yeah, just seeing how much better it's getting, it's been crazy. Even since we launched it 6 months ago, it's gotten so much better. So yeah, I do think, in my opinion, we'll have a world a couple years from now where you call, there's an AI agent. I think really the biggest thing is it needs to be able to take action on behalf of you. Like if you call an AI agent and it can't book the dentist appointment, you're going to be annoyed. So you're going to call back and talk to a human who can. But if the AI agent has access to the calendar and can book the appointment for you, you probably don't really care. So I do think we'll be in a world where like a lot of businesses are using that, but also then hopefully having, good employees in the loop for if things get a little more complex or if a caller just wants to talk to a human. So yeah, I do think we'll end up in a world with a nice combo of both. In terms of like the all-in mindset, I know that's a big piece for you, and as an entrepreneur, working with other entrepreneurs, something that you kind of preach and focus on. Can you tell us, Tony, a little bit about that mindset and how that served you in your position?
Yeah, I know that you've had other franchise systems in on your podcast, and for your listeners, or if you're somebody that's thought about starting a business, whether it's franchise or not, any business, I truly believe that you have to go all in. And so a lot of people misinterpret all in to time, meaning like, so you need all of my time, like I'm full time in this, or I'm part time, or they're trying to solve this time equation or this question. But all in to me is it's a mindset. It's all about the mindset. If you're going to be successful in anything, it's where you're going to prioritize your time. So it means that you're willing to put in the work when it's not convenient. So if it's a weekend or a night or whatever, you're willing to put in the work. It means that you're going to stay disciplined enough to follow that process, and that you're going to say no to things that are distractions. And oftentimes, I think a lot of businesses do not succeed because the owner gets distracted and they start chasing another thing, another deal, or they lose focus of the business. Most businesses, I think, can win, and most people can win in business if they give themselves enough time in terms of building that business out, and they focus and they say, you measure your priorities, you measure your all in mindset based on the things that you say no to. And I think that was like an Alex Hormozy thing or somebody else. And then the last thing is you got to be resilient. And so it's going to be difficult to own a business. If it was easy, a lot more people would do it. You have to be resilient. So you have to get through those bumps. You got to get through those obstacles, those bad days, because there's going to be good days. You got to adapt, change, move forward. And resilience is you don't know if you have it. If you've never owned a business, you don't know if you have it until you get to those days. And it's going to be a quick reflection in the mirror if you do have it or if you don't. So not enough people, I think, in franchising really just push. And we push conversations with candidates right now before they choose to join Horsepower about, are they all in? Are they willing to prioritize this above anything else in terms of businesses? Are they going to say no to other opportunities? Is this going to be a priority and a focus for them? And do they have what it takes?
When it comes, Tony, to kind of rounding out here, kind of evaluating just on that point, franchisees, do you have a rubric or a matrix or just a frame that you use to really assess when someone, is a good fit or not?
It's not necessarily like written down in terms of a
Yeah.
process. We do have some we do go through some steps in the way, but what we have, each one of our brands has a leader, and we do put that in their hands. They get to decide if this person can join our system or not, because they're in the field supporting franchisees. So they know right now what type of person is going to be successful in our system and what type of people are not successful. So how do we ensure that we're bringing in the right people? We put our brand leaders in charge, which is, they can overrule me. I might like somebody, but at the end of the day, the brand leader is going to be working with those people and, over the future. And so I want to make sure that they're bringing those people in and awarding the location. And that's the last piece I would say in franchising. Like when you get to a point where you can say as an organization that we award franchises to people that want to join our system, that means that you're going through a selection process and you're not just accepting anyone for any reason to come into our system. And that means that you do tell people no. And I think that's healthy and that's good, because it will build a better business in the long run, but it takes a long-term view to be willing to do that. Early on, franchise systems that may not have our balance sheet or the capital, you get in this sticky situation because you know that franchise fee that you could collect from an owner could help you tremendously right now today. But if you're picking the wrong people or awarding it to with the wrong expectations, it's going to be a tough climb out into the future. So, uh, there's not an exact science to it, Brian. And if you found that, I would tell you maybe take this business, put it aside, and focus on that.
Yeah.
Go out
Yeah.
to franchisors because it would help tremendously. But it's all comes down to people and setting expectations, asking a lot of questions.
Tony, anything we didn't get to here today that you wanted to cover?
Yeah, for your listeners, if anyone's a business owner, I think that there's a lot of power in continuous improvement. I want to make a positive impact on entrepreneurship, and so it's about talking to people about what are the keys to success, what are things that could help me as an entrepreneur become better. I always like to talk about Kaizen, which is a philosophy of continuous improvement. That if you break that word down, Kai means change, Zen means good, so change is good. And so if you don't accept change as a good thing, you're probably not going to be successful in entrepreneurship. Now, with that, you need to also understand that it's on you to continuously improve. And I think continuous improvement happens with small changes. And so Kaizen is this philosophy of taking small steps, 1% better each and every day to reach success. And I think you have to apply that in all aspects of your life, not just business, but personal life, like your physical health, mental health, relationships, money, adventure, and then your business and everything like that such. So there's a lot around that I talk to with people that are looking to join horsepower or start a business and become an entrepreneur. Is what are things that you're working on in your life to continuously improve? What's your system that you use? And if they don't have one, then I coach and really talk about Kaizen, and hopefully they adapt that in their life.
Awesome. Awesome. Funny. You're just made me realize that that's my nephew's name, Kaizen. And
Really
yeah. And I was like, he was
interesting.
just born and his name's Kai. And then I heard my sister kept saying Kaizen is his full name. And now I'm just putting two and two together. It's a life philosophy. So there you
Yeah,
go.
you're gonna have to ask. That's pretty interesting. I've never
Yeah.
heard of that. You'll have to
Yeah.
ask him.
Yeah. Tony, for folks that are interested in franchise opportunities at your company, at Horsepower Brands, for folks that want to follow you personally, where can folks connect with you and your company?
Yeah. So again, just to summarize, we're all in on the home. So any home service is an incredible industry. You can search that on your own. You're going to find out if you want to own a business in home services, there's a lot of upside and potential, whether with horsepower or on your own. But if you want to learn more about Horsepower Brands and learn about each one of our brands, just go horsepowerbrands.com. We have a very easy process. It's discovery based, it's education based. If at any point you want to stop the process, not the right time, right fit, we're okay with it because we do not want to put people into business that are not ready to move forward. So if you simply just want to learn, book a discovery call on horsepowerbrands.com. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, that's where I'm most active. You can see most of my content there. Follow horsepowerbrands.com. I think we're doing something special in the space. Again, we're only in our 5th year. So 10 years, another 5 years from today, we hope to be at $1 billion in system-wide sales, and we hope to continue to grow. So thank you for taking the time, Brian. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
appreciate being on.
And thank you, Tony, for coming on. And I hope you have a great rest of your week.